Hi, my name is Chris. I'm going to show you how some of the basics of using this machine. The RCAH machines are available once you've had some practice with some instruction, and hopefully this will help you. These machines, we have 5 of them. They're memory craft machines. They're quite sturdy, but you do need to remember that they're doing a very fine kind of work, and that many people, they're available to many people in the college and have been for a few years. So take good care of it and always check to be sure it's working well before you work on your final project. So a couple things. You plug in to your power, and you also plug in a pedal. This is the pedal, and one thing to tell you about it is it's shaped like a gas pedal, and you want to use it that way so your foot goes on it this way. So on the front of the machine, you need to turn it on. The light will turn on, and there's a screen that's going to tell you it should turn on to the number 1, probably the letter A, and the stitch size, and that's how you begin. So different parts of the machine are, one is, this is to hold the thread, your top thread. So this is how I'm going to thread it. You put your thread on, but you also need to hold it or it'll fly off. Put a holder on it, and there are large ones and small ones in the storage. Then the thread goes behind this white triangle. It goes down, and there's an arrow here that tells you once you've gone down, you go back up. You hook it here so that you can actually see it inside this hook.
And you went counterclockwise around that?
I went, yes, counterclockwise around that hook. Back down this same angle, there's a hook to the left here that you want to put your thread in. And you might want to show this here, right here. From there, so this hook, you have to go around the left to get it in. From there, you're going to thread the needle. There's a small hole here. Your thread is going to go from the front of the machine to the back. And then grab it and pull it through. The thread then goes under this. This is called the foot, and it goes underneath and to the back. Okay, a few other things I want to show you on the machine. This will be your up and down for your needle, so that when I press it, my needle's going to go down. When I press it again, it will go up. And it just picked up my bobbin thread, which I'm going to show you how to do. You have thread on the top and thread on the bottom in order to sew 2 pieces of fabric together. You have a door here. I'll show you that again. You push the black button to the side and it'll pop out. And this is your bobbin. This thread will appear on the bottom of your fabric. The gray thread will appear on the top of your fabric. So I'm going to hold this bobbin like a P so that the long thread is to the left. I do not want a Q where it's to the right. I want a P. I drop it in, and there's a notch here right in front of me, and I pull it to the side and lay it down. I'm going to leave it there because my top thread needs to pick it up. Now, the way I'm going to get my needle to go down is this wheel. I turn it towards me, and the needle goes down and goes back up. I'm holding the thread so that it pulls the orange thread up. And I will use, you can use a pin, a small pair of scissors. Just wipe it through so that you then have, you can see I have a gray thread and an orange thread, so I have both going out the back. I then put my door back. And I'm ready to stitch. But this part, I want to show you this little compartment. You can open it up, and it's a storage compartment. Here you have different feet and some other parts, and I will show you. Let's go over here to look at the parts. So this is the drawer on top, and you open it up and you'll have what you'll probably be using is a screwdriver, and this is a seam ripper, which is going to be your best friend in case you make a mistake. It really helps you redo the thread easily. I don't know if you can see this, but it will cut stitches quite quickly so that I can open this up and re-stitch it in the way I want. Okay? And it has a top on it. You can lengthen it, and it's easier to hold in your hand. So that's in your little storage compartment. You may need the screwdriver, and these are sewing machine needles. In case your sewing machine needle breaks, you have extra ones. You also have bobbins, and I'll show you a little later how to load your bobbin with say you have a particular color that you want, you may need to wind thread on your bobbin. Okay, let's try stitching. So when you're sewing, you want to sew two pieces of fabric together. And so what you do is you sew what we call right sides together. And you're going to get a seam allowance on the inside. So I'm going to sew this just inside that edging. The way I do that is I put my fabric underneath, and this black lever is very important. This lowers or raises your foot. My foot is up now. It's not clamping my fabric yet. I lower this black lever, and it's clamping my fabric. And I'm going to hold these two, the orange and gray thread, just to get started. And the way you stitch, you get your machine to start stitching, is you use your pedal. My advice is you start thinking of doing it very slowly so you get used to the stitching. My hands are guiding the fabric, but I don't need to push it through. The machine itself is pulling the fabric, and it's pretty straight, but I use my hands just to make sure it's going in a straight line and close to the edge where I want it. When I finish, I'm going to lift up this foot, and that's a button in the front, which has two arrows, and I lift this up. This black lever is very important, and I'll tell you why. You're apt to make a mistake. I know this from teaching lots of students, that sometime you're going to forget when you put your fabric in you're gonna forget to lower your foot. If you don't lower your foot, your stitch is gonna go all over the place. So if you start stitching and you say something is wrong, it's probably you forgot to put that foot down with the lever, okay? Also, if I wanted to change this and I want to show you the teeth underneath this foot, that's what this red button is for. So I'm going to push this red button and the foot comes off. If I want to change it and put a different one on, I would put it underneath. There's a bar across on that foot for these grippers to grab. But first I want to show you the teeth. These are the teeth, which will move your fabric through. So I'm going to put my foot back on. And this post has been lifted, so I'm going to line it up, and it may take some work to line it up correctly so that the grippers grab the bar. And I check it by lifting this, and I see that it's now attached to the machine. Okay, so now I think I can show you how to wind the bobbin. So we have an empty bobbin here. And I need this top thread. Say I want to wind this color onto a brand new empty bobbin. And so I put the bobbin, well, I need to thread it. So the way I'm going to thread this is there's a drawing right here to show you how to wind the wind thread onto the bobbin. It has a bobbin at the end, which will go down here. I don't, like when I showed you how to thread the machine, I went behind the white triangle. This time I'm going to put it in between the screws. Then the end of the thread goes in the middle of the bobbin and out one of the holes. Sorry. Then it's tricky, as you can see. Got it. Okay, so I went in the middle and came out this hole. And I'm going to slip it onto that post. For a short time, I want to hold on to this thread. Now, I want to engage the bobbin winder. Right now, it's engaged so that it'll make the needle go down, up and down if I use the pedal, the foot pedal. I want to engage this so it'll wind my bobbin. The way I do that is I move it over. Just to here, your screen in the front will say bobbin winding. Okay, it's important to look at these screens because sometimes the machines will get bumped or pushed or something left on. And if you're finding your needle, you start sewing and your needle isn't working, look at the window. It might have engaged the bobbin winder or a lock or something of that sort. So I'm holding this thread in the bobbin. I moved it over, and now I'm going to push on my pedal, and it starts to wind. I can cut this off, and it'll go. If when you're winding these bobbins, it ever gets tangled, a knot, doesn't look smooth like this one does now, you should unwind it because it's not going to work. If you have uneven winding on the bobbin and you stick it in the machine, it will not sew well for you. So that's important. You just unwind it all and do it again. So now I can cut this off. I don't want it to be on bobbin winding. I want it to be on stitching. So I move that post over. And as you recall, I need to make a P here to put this one in. I'm opening the door. Take out the color I don't want. With my P, I drop it in through the notch in front of me and out to the side. The top thread I've been using to wind the bobbin, so I need to rethread that, and so I'll show you that again. To thread my needle, I go behind the white rectangle, down this slot, up this next slot, counterclockwise around the hook, and I can roll it with my hand, the wheel with my right hand, and see that the thread is going through the hook. I go back down a hook to the left so that it's right above my needle, and I need to thread the needle again. I pull this thread under the foot and to the back, and I'm going to hold it as I turn the wheel with my right hand towards me. The needle goes down, it picks up my bobbin thread and goes back up. When this gets to the top, this hook gets to the top, I know it's ready to pull that bobbin thread through. This bobbin thread needs to be coming up through this hole in order for it to sew correctly. Then I'm going to put my door back on and snap it. And I'm ready to stitch again. Okay.